This week on the Aviators, it's one of the most famous fighters of its day. We're taking a look at the bent-wing bird, the F-4U Corsair. We've shown you tons of airshow performers rolling and tumbling across the sky. Well, now one of our own is going to give aerobatics a go. Kurtis is taking the controls of a decathlon as he starts his journey to becoming an aerobatic pilot.
The Aviators.
For most private or even airline pilots, the average flight is relatively benign. Take off and climb at 15 to 25 degrees, nose up. Perform a few 20 to 30 degree banks. Descend at 3 to 5 degrees and land. If you're simply going from point A to point B or carrying passengers, this type of flight regime will likely ensure the most enjoyable experience for everyone. And for a lot of pilots and most passengers, this is the only type of flight they'll really ever experience. But if you want to fly an aircraft beyond this relatively simple envelope of flight and explore everything an airplane is capable of, well then you're just going to have to try aerobatics.
Put this on over the shoulders.
These are going to come through.
These come through.
Today, Kurtis will be jumping into the front seat of a Bellanca Decathlon with aerobatic instructor Scott McMaster. Scott has been flying aerobatics for more than 35 years and is also an experienced aerobatic glider pilot.
Here we go. See if I can do this without throwing up.
Now, Kurtis has done some limited aerobatics before. You may recall last year, while flying the T6 Texan and P-51 Mustang, Kurtis did several aerobatic maneuvers in each aircraft. The purpose of these was for Kurtis to get used to the handling characteristics of the aircraft, as opposed to learning how to perform the perfect roll or perfect loop. With his experience in aerobatic competitions, Scott will be teaching Kurtis how to perform proper competition-level aerobatics.
What kind of people and why do they come and why do people want to learn to do aerobatics?
Most of the people that come to you to learn aerobatics want to become more comfortable with the aircraft flight envelope and unusual attitudes. They've been flying around, something has scared them, something surprised them, or something's interested them, and they think, wow, I would like to know more about how the airplane behaves when it's outside of the 45 degrees of bank and 30 degrees of pitch. And that'd be 70% of the people. There's a certain subset of crazy people that want to carry it farther on. They really enjoy the aerobatics, the sense of mastery of the airplane in 3D space. Because I don't know about you, but when I learned to fly, I had this personal vision that somehow I was operating a vehicle that worked in 3 dimensions, and that was cool. Well, then you do your flight training, and yeah, you're in 3 dimensions, but you're climbing at 500 feet a minute and then leveling off. It's like you're in a parking garage, not actually doing the whole thing. And so people start aerobatics, they get hooked on the whole, I can make this airplane do anything I want, put it anywhere I want, and I'm happy. And one of the phrases that I really like is, there are no such things as unusual attitudes. Like, they're all usual attitudes, you just have to get used to them, right? So straight and level inverted is just a normal attitude, you just have to get used to that.
The Bellanca Decathlon is a certified aerobatic aircraft. This means that the aircraft has a number of differences when compared to normal category general aviation aircraft. For one thing, the Decathlon can handle up to 6 positive and 5 negative Gs. So the aircraft has been built to be very strong and rugged. It also has an inverted fuel oil system, allowing the aircraft to fly upside down for up to 2 minutes. And in case of an emergency, the pilot's door can be popped free of its hinges to allow for an expedient exit. In today's flight, Kurtis and Scott will be routinely pulling 4 positive Gs. This means a force equal to 4 times their own weight will be pushing them down into the aircraft.
So where can we do aerobatics?
We can do aerobatics anywhere where we're not going to be a hazard to persons or people on the ground or to air traffic. So that restricts us to not over built up areas, not over top of open air assemblages of people, also off of major airways or we're in contact with the Air Traffic Control Agency to make sure that we're not going to hurt anyone. There's exceptions to that for air shows and air events, but for us, fun aerobatics, we want to be out in the boonies where we're not going to hurt anybody.
At an air show, you'll see performers demonstrating a sequence of aerobatics. Multiple maneuvers are strung together. Some may result in the aircraft exiting the maneuver upside down, only to enter the next one right side up. Or a loop may lead immediately into a roll. Performing multiple aerobatic maneuvers in sequence requires careful planning and coordination to ensure that you have enough speed to enter the next maneuver. But whatever variations or personal flair a performer may incorporate into their routines, almost all aerobatics are built on 4 basic maneuvers.
There's 4 basic aerobatic maneuvers. There's the loop, which is a simple pitching maneuver. You start from, well, not necessarily from level flight, but you just do a 360-degree pitch all the way around. Just about everybody has seen a loop-de-loop. That's a standard aerobatic maneuver. It's part of the building block. The other, one of the other ones is a roll. There's 2 types. There's a slow roll, which is an aileron maneuver where one rolls about the axis of the airplane. There's also a snap roll where you use the auto rotation. It's almost like a spin in the horizontal. You stall the aircraft asymmetrically, the airplane will snap roll around the dragging wing and fly away. We're not going to do any of those in this particular flight. We're just going to stick with the aileron rolls. Spin is an aerobatic maneuver, and you can do some permutations with it. And the other one of the basic 4 is a hammerhead, and that's a vertical up. You wait for the airspeed to almost disappear, and then you just pure yaw in a pivot around the top and come back down in a vertical line before you pull out. Those basic 4s cover 95% of the aerobatics you'll see. When someone's at an air show now, there's 2 other ones that show up a lot. Tail slides, which is when one lets the aircraft run right out of speed at the top and then slide backwards. It takes a very special airplane to be certified for that. The Decathlon is not. It's one of the few maneuvers we can't do with it. And that's because most airplanes aren't built to fly backwards.
I can imagine the loads must be interesting.
The biggest problem usually tends to be control surfaces. They'll slam hard against the stop or twist. It's just not a way that the airplane is designed to build. So you need something like a pit special or better. The other one that you'll see, and they become extremely popular, are things called gyroscopics. And they tend to be post-stall, and they're using the engine and the propeller as a gyroscope, and the aircraft actually tumbles, and you'll hear the words lam savaks and neckties, and there's a whole bunch of exotic combinations. The guys have really started to use them a lot in the air shows because the crowds love them, right? The airplane is flipping end over end and twisting and turning. Decathlon also is not stressed for that, mainly because you end up backing up pretty severely at that. It's very high load on the propeller disc. You need something more like a pit special or an extra for that type of maneuver. But they are a lot of fun. They're a subject for another day.
The first maneuver Kurtis will learn is the loop. The loop may look like one of the easier maneuvers to do, and indeed, simply looping an aircraft is not that difficult. But Kurtis is going to learn how to do a perfect round loop. And more importantly, he's going to learn what to do if the loop goes wrong.
Okay, all right, so for a loop, I'm going to demonstrate one first. Let's do that. I have control. You have control? Yeah, and here we go.
The loop is entered usually from straight and level flight, either erect or inverted. We set a particular speed, and the Decathlon's 140 miles an hour is the recommended entry speed. And we're going to pull 4 Gs initial entry. Nice, smooth, but aggressive pull to 4 Gs. We don't jerk the stick, but we don't mamby-pamby the airplane either. It's tell it you mean business, but you do it smooth.
Yeah.
Be conscious of not pulling back into the corner. A really common mistake, just ergonomically, your arm wants to pull to the corner, which introduces a roll as you start to pull. It's not good for the airplane structurally, but the main thing is it messes up your loop. So we hold 4 Gs until we come up over the top. As you come through about the vertical, you put your head back to look through the skylight and pick up the horizon on the inverted line.
The Earth's coming back, yeah.
The Earth is coming back. You then start to back off on the elevator to keep the angle of attack low as you fly through the inverted portion. And you let the nose drop through. Once we're about 20 degrees nose down inverted, we transition up to a 4G pull on the bottom again and exit the maneuver at 4Gs out the bottom.
Hey, you have control, I have control. So take us back. Okay, so we're going to go down, we're going to level and call wings level, and then we'll do 4 wings level, and then the 4G pull. And so it comes like I did, smoothly, aggressively. So we'll pitch down 20 so degrees, left for 140. Power is up. There's 140, we'll come level, wings level, and then we'll go. That's now, you push a little left there, but that's okay. We're going to float over the top, and we're going to correct. And then get that G in, and let's pick it back up. Yeah, here comes the G, go. 3.8, 4 Gs. Nice. Now, I did get a little bit rolled off, as you said, but I went left, not right, did I? And that was, I think, you just overcompensated. So just concentrate a little bit on a nice, smooth, straight pullback, okay, into the 4 Gs. I think you rushed it a little bit, which is normal on the first couple. Okay. And, but just concentrate on a nice, straight pullback, and let's try it again. This is 130, there's 140, level, check level, pull, 4 G. Oh, that was a nice pull. Looking up, okay, now we're going to float over the top. That's about it. Little bit of rudder there, just see how the wings rocking on. Yeah, and then we're going to load it back up a little bit on the down line. There's 4 Gs, nice. Oh man, your brain is very busy even though you're not. Oh yeah. My brain is very busy even though we're not. And this is the simple one where there's just really one control you're using.
So with a loop, it's a pretty simple maneuver. It's pitch only. There's a couple of ways to make a mess of it. If someone was trying this all by themselves, it's very hard to calibrate in on the amount of G that you want. And it's common to pull too much or too little. The problems with pulling too much are pretty obvious. You overstress the airplane, the wings come off, bad day for everybody.
Or you stall.
Or you stall. If you're lucky, you're below maneuvering speed and you stall. More common is people aren't used to pulling G. They're not calibrated in, they don't have a G meter, they don't pull enough. And you end up essentially straight up with no airspeed, no pitch component, wondering what you should do next, and your non-tail slide rated airplane then starts to tail slide before it flicks into a spin of some type.
Bad news, yeah.
Bad day for everyone.
This is a good reminder of why you don't want to go out and attempt aerobatics without an instructor. The other factor that could greatly affect a first-time aerobatic student is the physiological impact of aerobatics. Pulling high positive Gs for a sustained period of time will force the blood out of your head into the lower part of your body. For most people, the 3 or 4 Gs Scott and Kurtis are pulling isn't too difficult. Higher than that, and you're going to need to build up your G tolerance and implement straining exercises. The other factor is motion sickness. Almost all new aerobatic pilots are going to experience this to some extent.
And so when you first tried aerobatics, what did you feel? Do you remember?
Terrible. Oh yeah, I mean, I was good for 15 minutes and then I had to land, but 15-minute flight, another 15-minute flight, another 15-minute flight, and then all of a sudden it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like I say, over the winter, I lose my acclimatization. In the spring, I have to regain it. You know, we're filming this in July. I can sit in the back seat with you cranking us around all day and it won't bother me. It's similar to seasickness. You get your sea legs and you're good.
So now the next maneuver I wanted to talk about was the hammerhead, okay?
This one's a fun maneuver.
It looks like fun.
It is.
Yeah, this is the one that's most interesting because I think the feeling of being vertical and that slow is going to be really uncomfortable for me. You will find that it's a little unnatural. When you get used to it, it's a thing of beauty. Let's try. Here we go with the hammerhead. Okay, down for 140.
We're gonna come in straight and level, wings level on our axis.
130, 145, level, 4G go.
4G pull, just exactly the same as the first quarter of the loop.
But stop pulling.
As soon as we hit vertical, we're gonna stop pulling.
A little bit off there, coming back. Here, hold it.
Now we're just gonna drive straight up until we run out of speed.
Yeah.
With the decathlon, we kick somewhere around the 20-mile-an-hour mark.
Hold it. Now come back inside, watch it, kick.
As it comes around, it's got some momentum. It's gonna try and swing through. It's gonna try and do this as it comes down. So it's up to you with the rudder. You've got full rudder in as it comes around. As it comes up to the vertical down, you're gonna start coming in with opposite rudder to nail it on that vertical down line.
Opposite rudder. Okay, now let it run to 100, pull. Yeah, we were fairly positive down and stuff, but for a first crack, that was really nice. How'd that feel? That was neat. You really take the airplane from one end of its envelope to the other. It's really definitely do. It's really interesting. I wish I could get a better handle on where this rudder is actually needs to be.
After a couple more hammerheads, it was time for Kurtis to try the aileron roll.
This is a complicated maneuver to do well and to do properly. So we break it down into chunks. What we're trying to do is not have you do too much to start. 3 or 4G pitch up to 30 degrees nose up.
Yep.
Freeze the pitch so that we're on axis. We don't want any. We're climbing up. You don't want backstick left in. Then coordinated aileron and rudder, and we need full aileron and coordinated rudder. Most people are not used to what full control deflection means. And it's very common on these. I'll say full aileron, and they'll go, it is. No, it's not. there's a whole lot more to it. As the roll starts, we're just gonna leave that pitch fixed, no elevator input. So as the airplane rolls, we just let the nose drop down through. And as we come up the wings level right side up, we'll be about 20 or 30 degrees nose down. You stop the roll by neutralizing the ailerons and rudder, then pull out with 2.5, 3G pull back to level.
Very nice. Try another one of those. Okay. Try it to the right, just so you can develop a handedness. Okay. I will fix that eventually, don't worry. Probably good for me right now, Scott. Understood. Nice.
From here, Kurtis took his rolls further, adding in pitch and yaw adjustments throughout the roll. Ideally, with an aileron or slow roll, there should be no change in altitude throughout the entire maneuver. Add to this some more practice learning to do spins in a precise manner, and Kurtis's first day of aerobatics was done.
It's a lot of fun to introduce someone to something that you like doing so much. It's always fun to see the reaction and have them actually enjoy it.
It's a lot of different feelings and sensations, and the loops have the reason that they're aggressive, and the aileron rolls have the feeling that they're aggressive. It's very different things that are happening in your brain. And it doesn't really happen that fast. I mean, when you're actually doing it, your brain is processing all this stuff. But there you have, I mean, how long does it take to do a loop?
7-8 seconds. The people watching it on TV will be going, Kurtis, you're a wuss. That looked really nice and easy, but the sensory inputs and you're busy trying to find stuff and sort it takes a lot of work. And it's relentless. But no, you did really well considering how much we threw at you in less than an hour. And no, you did really well. You have a career ahead of you if you choose to go that way.
Yeah, you know, it's like many things that I try in aviation, I find that they're to my liking. It's my biggest problem is I don't have time to do all of them, but I think this one's probably next.
Seasons 1 to 4 of The Aviators are now available on DVD and Blu-ray. For more information on today's segments, visit www.theaviators.tv. From our official home at the Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, we'll see you next week on The Aviators.